So I'd like to make a beginning and show you all the rules involved in chess. So this is how your chessboard looks like. It has file A, file B, file C. You can see this for A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H written. So these are all files F, G, file H. So and similarly you have these ranks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 ranks, as I've already told you earlier. Let's get to the position of each piece. The white pawns are kept on the second rank and the black pawns are kept on the 7th rank. These major pieces are kept as 2 white rooks on either corner, 2 black rooks on either corner. Adjacent to these you'll place 2 white knights, 2 black knights, and then 2 bishops, 2 black bishops, and a white queen on the white square and the king adjacent, and the black queen on the black square and king adjacent. So this is, you already know how to set the pieces. Now let us start the game to make a beginning. So what I'll be showing you right now is not the actual beginning, but just to show you how the rules of chess are incorporated. So white makes the first move, and so white would like to move this pawn in the king's gambit as 2 steps. As you can see from the highlighted squares, it can either move 1 step or 2 steps. So we'd like to move it 2 steps. And see, for white, E4 is written. E4 is written for this move. Why? Because E is the file and 4th is the rank, and this square is E4. Similarly, if black moves, black can also move. In the first move, all the pawns can either move 1 square or 2 squares forward. So in this case, the black pawn, if it moves 2 squares, see how the first move is denoted by white E4 and black E5. Why? Because black is on the E file and the 5th rank. So we always have to denote the landing square or the destination square in notation, chess notation. And since pawns do not have a capital P, so only E4 and E5 are written. After this, suppose if we are playing a king's gambit, then this pawn is moved forward 2 steps, and this forms a pawn duo. And look at the notation now. In the second move, it is F4. White has moved to F4. That means the F file and the 4th rank. The black can also move if it wants 2 steps and make a pawn duo over here, because as you know, all these 4 squares are very important. To gain supremacy in the game, you have to take control of these 4 squares. Why do we move these pawns? There's a very simple logic behind it, so that we can move this white bishop out. The white moves its pawns forward so that it can develop its white bishop or if it wants to take out the queen, although queen is never taken out in the front line in the beginning, because it's we have to keep it safe, we have to protect it. The reason being because this is the most important piece among the other major pieces and minor pieces in the game. So now, and since it is the white's turn, it would like to develop its white bishop over here and see a check. See, for bishops we use B, capital B, and a small b5. This is the square. b5 is the square, and a plus sign. See, a plus sign is written over here. That means a check has been given to the king, because these bishops, they move diagonally. They can move only diagonally. They cannot move horizontally or vertically like the rook does. Okay, so now the black would like to keep its knight over here and block the check. Why were the two squares highlighted? Because this knight moves in an L shape, so it was kept over here. Another square was this one. This also makes a L shape, but it was good to keep it over here so that the knight is developed. It has moved forward. After this, the white knight would also like to develop over here, like this is the L shape, and this was another square which was showing, but we will keep it over here, try to keep it in the front line. After this, a bishop, black bishop. See the highlighted square, this black bishop can move diagonally, so this black bishop can be developed up till here and sort of uh, has a threat to the white queen. So what the white would like to do, white would like to keep the knight. It has option of 3 squares, so white knight would like to come over here and block the threat from this black bishop to the queen. Now see the move notation wise, it is written as nf3. That is, it denotes the notation in this chessboard. It denotes the white knight. Otherwise we just write the n, capital N, and f3. Why? Because it has moved to the f file and third rank, the destination square. Although this knight could have moved over here also, making an L shape, and over here also, but this white knight now has come to the front line for developing. After this comes the black's turn. The black knight, see, it can move diagonally. This black knight will like to move up till over here, and so that if this knight moves, to capture this pawn, black pawn, then this way will be sort of clear. And suppose because the white will also have to develop this white bishop, so in that case the way will be clear for the sort of an indirect check for the king. So right now nothing is happening of that sort. So now it's the white's turn. The white would like to move now one step forward, and the black would also like to develop its knight on this front line. This black knight at the same time defends the black bishop also, because the bishop is located at an L shape. Some people who don't know to play, how to play with a opponent's knight, so they generally exchange their bishops with the knights. Exchange means get their try to capture the knight, and then some other piece captures that uh, bishop, so both the pieces are out, go out of the chessboard. So let's see now what the other move can be made. This white bishop can be moved up till over here, and in response, now the passage is clear for the black to make. See, black can either move one step, or if it's one, see, it's showing the highlighted square is showing two steps. That means if the black wants to do castling, it can do it on this side, move two steps, and this rook will come on this square. I'll just show you. Suppose if the black is kept over here, automatically the rook will be placed over here. And now the white would also like to do the castling. We do castling because the kings comes to a safer square. This rook is there, and suppose if the opponent piece attacks this pawn, then the king can take it, and at the same time this knight is also there to defend it. And in case some more force is required, then we can move the queen also on this square. So that is why it's supposed to be a safe place for the king. And now let's see what the black can do. The black can move, it's, see how the unlike the bishop moves in diagonally, the rooks move horizontally or vertically, but the queen can move in both the ways, like a rook and like a bishop. For example, the queen can move vertically, queen can move horizontally, and queen can move diagonally also. And so to avoid this line of bishop, the black queen would like to settle down over here. Similarly, this white queen also, to avoid this line of action of this black bishop, can develop on this diagonal square. So the queen would like to come over, develop over here. All these pieces are being taken into the front line without capturing, because the capturing will take place in the middle game, just after this beginning. After just 9-10 moves, already 9 moves have already been made. Ninth move has been made by the white over here, and let's see what the black will do. Black can, since the, see this, okay, as you can see, the black bishop is attacking this pawn, and if it moves its rook somewhere else, then the bishop will capture this pawn. So in this case, first the black would like to move this pawn forward to make the pawn safe in front of the rook, like this pawn safe. Now, because if the white bishop captures this pawn, then the pawn over here will overtake, and this file will become vacant for this black rook. It will come directly into action. So that is what the white would not like to do that. So white has taken that step, and now this rook, as it can move horizontally, it can either make a double force over here behind the queen, or see, this is the 10th move, or it can move over here. So because there is no threat to this pawn, like there is no threat from either side for this pawn, so this white rook can move right now. A black can also make another one move now, since these pawns are safe. It can also form a double force or a double power behind the queen. So the black rook will come somewhere over here, and now you can see all the pieces have been developed. So this is how the developing is done in the beginning stage. Most of the pieces, they are attacking, and at the same time they are protected by some piece. So let's analyze. For example, this rook is guarded by this knight. This rook is also guarded by this rook. The rook guards the king. The queen guards this knight and this rook. This rook attacks this pawn, but then the queen can attack the knight. At the same time, this knight is protected by this pawn and the queen. Similarly, if black pawn attacks this white pawn, then the white bishop can capture the black pawn, and this black pawn is also defending the queen diagonally. So let's look at the position of the black. Both these rooks are guarding each other. The queen guards this rook and this rook as well. So all three are complementary to each other. This black knight protects this black rook. This black knight protects this black bishop. This black knight protects this black bishop. White knight protects this white bishop. At the same time, it attacks this black pawn. This white knight is protected by this white pawn. So you can see most of the pieces in the developing stage are attacking the opponent pieces, and at the same time they are protected by their own pieces, so that exchanges can take place. And you know how the exchanges, the points in exchange, bishop and a knight can be exchanged because they both have 3 points. But a knight would not like to move out. A knight would not like to move out of this way for black bishop to capture the queen. Black bishop to capture the white queen. Why? Because the bishops and knights have only 3 points and the queen has 9 points. Similarly, we have to protect the rooks also. Rooks have 5 points each. So we keep the queen and the rooks in the back line. We don't just take out in the front line for attacking or getting trapped somewhere, and because they are carrying the maximum number of points, although it doesn't matter how many points you have on the chessboard. All that matters is a good move and say a check to the king and just finish the game. So, but still at a very higher level, at a very advanced stage, yes, these points do matter. And especially if you don't have a queen, that almost your half the battle is lost at a very advanced stage where the world champions play. And but for the beginners, it will not matter. It will be just a good move would be required to just capture the opponent's king and finish the game there and then.